Good evening, y'all. So happy to have you all on our call tonight. We have our weekly Live with Liz call, and I'm excited to learn and grow. This call is going to be phenomenal because we're talking about October and the amazing, crazy amazing incentives that corporate is putting out for ranking up. And Brooke Matamoros, did I say that right?
Yes. Good job.
Sapphire Ambassador with Plexus Diamond.
Yeah, Diamond.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Diamond Ambassador with Plexus. Heavens, I'm so sorry. But we're excited to have her on tonight. An amazing sister leg that I have personally never been able to meet, hug your neck, but I have watched your journey in so many different ways and been inspired in so many ways. But I'm excited to hear a little bit deeper, a little bit more of your story tonight, but have you share some tips and strategy and thoughts about this October crazy incentive for us. So thank you again, Brooke.
Well, thank you, Liz, so much for having me on tonight. I love sharing with other teams and reaching out to sideline friends, and that one Plexus attitude is apparent everywhere. So my name is Brooke Matamoros, and I'm a Diamond Silver Ambassador with Plexus. But titles and rank stuff, that's, it does not matter. What matters is really your commitment to this, and just that you've decided that you're going for this. The fact that I do this is laughable to me in many ways, because I never imagined that this is what has happened. And I'm so proud to be with Plexus, to be a part of a company that I truly believe in. And that was not something that I expected to find when I first heard about Plexus. So that's why it's surprising to me. And as I share my story, you might figure out a little bit more about why this was really an unexpected situation for us. So as a family. So I was a stay-at-home mom for 7 years before I joined Plexus. I worked up until the week before my oldest son was born. I've got 2 boys in elementary school. They played baseball. I've always been really involved in their schools, with their sports, right there in every class party and everything. So my boys were certainly my world. And I absolutely love being a stay-at-home mom. I love that my husband and I have been able to do that for our boys. So when I first heard about Plexus, what had happened was Melissa Darby is actually a friend of mine. We've been friends since the 6th grade. We cheered together in middle school. And then later we went to college together, and we were sorority sisters. So we've known each other for a really long time. So she started talking about Plexus on Facebook, and I had all the assumptions that so many of us have at the beginning. I thought it was some sort of a weight loss fad thing. I saw great, testimony coming about her husband, Nathan, with his blood sugar issues. And so I was happy for them, but I didn't get any sort of inkling that I would have some sort of interest in this. I was very aware about reading labels. My youngest son has a lot of gut-related issues. I was already very passionate about probiotics, digestive enzymes, the importance of avoiding overly processed foods and artificial sweeteners. We didn't allow artificial sweeteners in our home. And so that was kind of the path I was already on. And I never in a million years assumed that Plexus was something that was in line with that. I didn't realize that they even had a probiotic, certainly in the beginning. My sister is Blair Lavoie. She's also a Diamond with Plexus. And she saw Melissa's post also, because she's also a Facebook friend of hers, and reached out to her right away. She wanted to get our mom on the products. And she's always the bargain shopper, wanted the best deal, completely signed up as an ambassador, decided to try a couple of the products herself as well, and kind of stumbled upon the business. Now, my sister is super extroverted, can talk anybody into anything, has a sales background. So me watching Melissa and watching Blair, it all made sense as to why they would find success. And it made sense to me why I couldn't do the same thing. I'm naturally much more introverted. I still didn't see a connection with the products with my passion. And since my sister, wasn't, when she started, she didn't really have all the information. She's like, I'm not sure what I'm doing, but I'm doing this. So she didn't know really how to direct me necessarily at the beginning. And it wasn't until she said, Brooke, we have a probiotic, that I was like, wait, what? You mean like this might actually be a health company? I was still at that point completely terrified of anything that I thought was going to be sales. So I still, I was just listening to all those voices of self-doubt in my head and listening to all those reasons that just made me know this was not for me. I was happy for them. And at the same time, my youngest son was getting ready to start his final year of preschool. And I began thinking about the following year, having both boys in elementary school and what that might look like. And I couldn't imagine not trying to help financially. My self-worth had definitely taken a hit being a stay-at-home mom for so long. Without having a way to measure my contribution to the family in a financial way, I kind of felt like I wasn't doing enough. I dreaded anniversaries, birthdays, and Christmas where I couldn't buy my husband a gift that he essentially didn't pay for. That was hard. We weren't struggling. We didn't need me to go to work, but I just couldn't imagine if both my boys were in school that I wouldn't do something to help. And I started thinking about what my options were because I wasn't willing to sacrifice not being home when my boys were home from school. So Plexus started, my sister especially started encouraging me more, and it started chipping away at my well, what if I could? And so as I started to look, especially again at that ProBio 5 and noticing that the digestive enzymes were already something in there, our pediatrician always had us buy separate digestive enzymes to make the probiotics more effective for my son's issues. And so when I really started looking at what this was, I was like, I couldn't believe that this was actually in line with everything that I had come to become so passionate about. I was already sharing articles on Facebook to my friends about why they should be avoiding artificial sweeteners. I was like a Plexus ambassador. I just didn't know that I was. And so to break down and realize we share information to our friends all the time. We just aren't paid for it. So I started to understand, okay, well, if I could just even do this tiny percentage of what my sister or what Melissa were able to do and give myself a much bigger time frame to be able to accomplish it, I thought, well, maybe I could give it a try. So I'm about to hit, actually this next week, my 3-year anniversary of Plexus. And I ended up, when I finally joined you guys, I still had never even tried a sip of the pink drink. I had never tried a product, but I had been convinced enough from seeing their business success, as well as really looking at those labels and knowing what I was getting myself into in terms of product, that I jumped in. I immediately started posting on Facebook. I ordered a welcome pack that came with sample packs, and I immediately asked, I've got 10 sample packs. Who wants them? And that gave me early leads to find out who's interested. If I hadn't done that, I know my start would have been much slower. I ended up going silver in my first full month. So November of 2013, I went silver, and then I went gold 3 or 4 months later. So my idea of gold was truly kind of the end-all pinnacle goal of what I thought was achievable for me, because I had never done network marketing before. I assumed completely it would be completely based on my efforts alone. I didn't understand how important duplication was and what that really meant, and really the opportunity that I was sitting on. So I had really capped myself at thinking, man, if I could ever make $1,000 a month, that would be incredible. And there are probably every person on this call is thinking, man, $1,000 a month, that's life changing. For a lot of people, $300 a month is life changing. So don't listen to somebody who's made it to the top of the company and just make yourself think, well, but I couldn't do that. Because I promise you, I thought the same thing. But that's not how this company is structured. That's not how our compensation plan is structured. And I think one of the most exciting things about that right now, especially specifically in this month, is with our rank up and score. This is a huge opportunity for people to realize the opportunity that you're sitting on. there's so much excitement building up, and this is the time to really decide that you can do this. Ignore any self-doubt. We're going to talk about getting over some fears and stepping outside of your comfort zone. You guys, it's so important. I wouldn't have been able to make it as far as I have if I hadn't stretched myself. So am I an introvert? Yes. But does that mean that I stayed completely in my bubble? No. What I did was I started where I felt comfortable, where I felt safe. I hid behind my computer a lot. I did a lot of texting and Facebook messaging and emails because I was afraid to talk on the phone at first, until I grew my confidence in conversation and knew how, just in confidence, having conversation with a stranger, talking more, asking more questions, not having to talk so much, but listening really and determining what might be a fit, always with the purpose of helping somebody else. And when your focus is that, a lot of your fear goes away, because if you realize how many people are looking for Plexus, you have an answer, you have a solution to the problems that they have, and they don't know it. So, Plexus was an answer to something that I was struggling with some of that self-worth and feeling like I was a part of something again, and friends, and the social aspect that's been so great, but the chance to be a leader again, to help others, to be an example to my boys about hard work and helping others. That stuff was immensely important to me, and so it was so neat to find this and realize it was a fit. So with this rank up and score, it's such a huge opportunity. If there is anybody in your team who hasn't decided that they should try to go silver, you should talk to them about what that actually means for them. If they, holidays are going to be here before we know it. People need Christmas money. They could get their Christmas budget done this month. That's a real attainable thing. It does not mean you set this goal to be ruby or diamond, in a certain amount of time. It's, let's look at what we can do this month. Let's see how many people on your team you can get to silver, or encourage to try to go to silver, or get new customers. One of my favorite things in terms of talking about goal setting is not always placing goals on things that you can't control, which tends to be what most people do. They say, I want to have X number of customers by the end of this month, or I want to have X number of new team members join my team by the end of this month. You can do a lot of work to see if that happens, but ultimately whether or not you achieve that goal depends on the other person following through. And what happens now, while it's important to kind of set some goals with that, but it's so important to not only have your goals focused on those things, because that can be incredibly discouraging when it doesn't happen, even though you made so many positive strides that are going to get you closer to that. So my favorite thing when talking about goal setting is focusing on things that you can control. So you can say, I want to talk to 4 new people this week about Plexus, or I want to hand out this number of samples this week to new people. Those are things you can control. I want to follow up with this person, put them on my to-do list, be intentional, write their names on that calendar. Those are to-do list goals that you can control whether or not you follow through and achieve that. And when you are making those kinds of action steps, you're much more likely to get the outcome that you're wanting anyway with new customers and ambassadors. But it's in such just a different positive mindset where you're encouraged constantly because you've got your little to-do list that day. And if you can check off that you did those 3 things, if you work a full-time job, you can still be incredibly successful with Plexus. There are tons of people who've made it to the top while managing a family and having a full-time job. It's really about making the best use of your time. So that's important with your goals too, is being realistic that maybe you only have 20 minutes a day to work your Plexus business. Well, then if that's the case, Maybe you need to use an app like Tiny Torch or Buffer. Those are things where you can sit down maybe on a Sunday evening and you can plan out all the posts that you want to make on social media that week, and you can get them ready, and you can tell the app what day and time you want them to post. So no matter how busy you get in the week, it's doing it for you, and all you had to do was spend a little bit of prep time. There's a lot of people who plan their menus for the week, or even go as far as to prep their entire meals for the week, and all it takes is a little extra time on one day, and it makes you so much more productive the rest of the week, and it makes you stick to your goals. So things like that make time management so much easier. Another thing when it comes to making the most of your time, especially in a month like this, you guys, because this month it's already the 6th. We already have a week down. So where are you in tracking where you can get? How many people have you encouraged in your team to try to go silver? Do they even know how to do that or what that means? Identify people who you know would be great at this, whether or not they know it yet. Identify who that is and encourage them. Celebrate anybody that's reaching outside of their comfort zone, and encourage them and celebrate those, because those efforts are hugely important. And it's great to build momentum in a month like this when corporate is offering us something. They are gifting us this huge opportunity, even bigger than we usually have, and you can work together, and that's what's so cool. Now when you go silver, that's the one rank that truly does depend only on your efforts. It doesn't matter how many level 2s or level 3s you have. It strictly is focused on whether or not you have personally sponsored 3 people. Every rank promotion after that does not matter. It's not only focused on you. You should always be continuing to find new prospects. Plexus doesn't limit you to the number of level 1 ambassadors you can bring in, so you certainly should not limit yourself. Go as wide as you can. Never stop that. But don't feel like you have to do this on your own. That's not how our company is structured, and that should be a relief to you, that you can work together, and you don't have to do this on your own. That's what makes it possible to go so much farther than you could do on your own. So when it comes to really making the most of your time, when it comes to Facebook, there are so many of us that think, okay, I've got 20 minutes, I'm going to open Facebook, and we start scrolling, or we start maybe looking at notifications, who has tagged us in something or who has commented on something. I'd love to give you a strategy of mine, and that is to do the opposite order of what you think. Instead of going to Facebook and checking your messages and your tags and your notifications first, you save that to the end. Hopefully you've already made your to-do list of those income-producing activities, the good post you want to make on social media, the person you want to follow up with, whether it's on Messenger or something else. But you do those actions first. And after you've done those income-producing activities, then you can spend time looking to see where you've been tagged, what notifications you have, and if there's leftover time from that, then you can do your fun scrolling to see, whose kid went to school for the first time today, and aren't they adorable? Because what happens is Facebook can really suck our time away from us, and before we realize it, we've used up all of our time. So do it in the opposite order, and you're going to be much more productive. So really make sure when you have a small amount of time that you're using that time wisely, and you do your to-do list first, and then you check for the rest. A lot of that really just has to do with the difference also between having a hobby mindset and an executive mindset. Maybe if you're brand new and you're just starting out, you're just thinking, well, gosh, I'm not setting out to be a CEO. That's fine. I wasn't setting out for that either. And after about 4 or 5 months, when I hit what I thought was going to be my ultimate goal that might take me a year or 2 to get, I went, okay, this is a much different opportunity than I thought. This is worth more time, more sacrifice, more effort, and also I was having so much fun helping other people, because I realized there were so many people in my life who had similar goals of saying, man, if I could ever make $1,000 in a month, What would that do for my family? Or I had friends who were teachers who were dreaming of being a stay-at-home mom, and that just wasn't in the cards for them. And now, because of Plexus, it is. And to know that I've been able to inspire and help lead, to be a part of that is it just fills my cup. So it's a really cool thing. I started this for certain things. If you don't know why you're here, that needs to be one of your first things. You need to figure out what is going to internally motivate you. So that means whether or not corporate has this awesome special this month, whether or not your team is doing an incentive on their own, or they do a team call every week, what is it that drives you to stick to this, even if the rest of that went away? If you don't have your why established, and it doesn't have to be well, I want to make $200 a month. Okay, well, what does $200 a month mean? Does that mean you can afford those ballet classes for your daughter, or you can get out of credit card debt? And if you got out of credit card debt, that would allow you to do this. What does that actually mean? Find the why behind the why, the need behind the need, and know that that is what's going to keep you going. And in a month like this, oh my goodness, you have so much opportunity, because you've got the validation of so many other people who are so excited right now, that it just helps with, no matter who you're sharing Plexus with, they're hearing about it more, they're seeing the excitement about it more, and they're seeing, oh, you're a part of this too. Wow, maybe this is something I should take a look at. Take advantage of other people's excitement too. And anybody you share Plexus with, you should be enthusiastic about it. Share that excitement, make them want to be a part of it. Another awesome thing about what's happening right now is our new 60-day money-back guarantee that has been extended to ambassadors. That is a huge thing to help you grow your team. And again, in a month like this, that's just another awesome advantage, an awesome tool that you should use. It's one of those things that takes some of that risk, or the risk away for your prospects, or the people who feel like, well, but there's got to be a catch. When you tell them that our products are backed for that, even if they join as an ambassador, that just is a huge sigh of relief, because I promise you, there are people on my team who started out as my customers fully assuming to take advantage of their 60-day money-back guarantee. And lo and behold, they realized they didn't want their refund because they loved the products and they were working for them. And then they decided to join my team instead of getting their money back. So, that risk is gone, where every conversation you have needs to be approached with enthusiasm and excitement. And they should be left thinking, well, why not? And the why not highly comes from our awesome ingredients that you can say that you're so proud of and believe in, and that we're so transparent about the leadership of our company, about our incredible compensation plan, about our money back guarantee that goes for customers and ambassadors, about our no big buy-in, get the best price. Why wouldn't you do this? If all else fails, you get your money back. Is that, where's the downside to this? That's how every conversation you have with prospects should be having them left thinking, well, why wouldn't I do this? So enter every conversation assuming that they're going to get to that point as well. So some of that is being maybe more bold than what you're used to being. But just know that people are looking for this. When you are sharing on social media, I'm sure many of you have experienced where you get a private message from somebody that you had no clue, they were not anywhere on your radar, that they might be someone who's interested in this. That's happened to me time and time again. They've never liked or commented on one of my Plexus posts, but again, they don't want people to know that they're interested. A lot of people are secretive about that. But if you can make them feel that they can trust you, ask more questions about what their goals are, their habits, their issues, and things like that, you're going to break down those walls and really have them trusting you and your credibility about why you chose Plexus. So you've got to learn to step outside that comfort zone, and it can be in small ways and it can be in bold ways. If you have not done a Facebook event or a sip and see, you guys, sip and sees are so valuable. They are so beneficial. This is not a situation where you have to spend money and rent out a hotel ballroom and invite a jewel and pay for hors d'oeuvres. This can be in your living room. You mix maybe 2 bottles of the pink drink and pour them into little cups so everybody just gets a taste of it. You show the product video. You tell your friends and family how you were introduced to Plexus and what it's done for you. And if you're brand new and you haven't had anything, actually happen to you yet, you can say why you're excited and you can't wait to see what it is going to do for you because you've watched this friend and this friend have it work for them. That's all you have to do. It's not a party where they have to leave after writing a check. These are all just no pressure, fun. Keep it simple, but get people excited about what it is that you're a part of. These aren't hard things, but they make such a difference. And you've got to light the fire today. It's Thursday night. Can you do an event on Tuesday night? Who can you get with? Whether it's on your team, an upline, a sideline friend, someone in your area to either do something over the internet or in somebody's living room or in a public park. It doesn't have to be complicated. You just got to get people there. And if you, maybe your friend is more outgoing than you are, you guys can work together and figure out who's got the best strengths, and just kind of sideline together and support each other. That's so important. These relationships with each other to help each other are truly crucial. So this is a time that you should be taking advantage of those as well. You should be going for this. One other thing with the rank up and score, now to get the double bonus or to get that re-achievement rank bonus, one thing that I keep getting nervous that people are going to forget about is there's one extra requirement, and that is to make sure you get a new customer this month, someone who's never ordered before, and in their first order, they must order something worth at least 50 PV. So you need to try and make it a goal to get that out of the way as soon as possible. Don't wait until the end and then be like, oh yeah, I forgot about that. Make sure that that's on the forefront of your mind and get that out of the way quickly, okay? So that can be a triplex customer. That can be somebody who only orders the slim. There's tons of ways that you can get just to 50 PV. That's not difficult. If it's just a trial, that's not going to cut it. So make sure that you're paying attention to exactly what they're ordering. Provide awesome customer service. Be on the phone with them. Set an appointment and say, okay, I know you've been excited about starting. Let's not wait any longer. I can't wait to help you. Are you available at 10 a.m. after you drop the kids off at preschool? What time do you get home, or when is your lunch break? Let me be available for you. I'll walk you right through it. It'll take 5 minutes. It'll be great. I can't wait to get you started. Have that enthusiasm. You can follow up with something really intentional that's not a pressure, but if they've said they're interested, you guys, they want it. So if they feel that you've got that enthusiasm and you're going to be their support and you can't wait to help them, they're going to be more likely to be like, okay, she's right. Why am I going to wait till another Monday? Let's do this now. So don't put it off. There is nothing wrong with being bold with our friends. There's a big difference between encouragement and being bold, and being pushy. So there are absolutely ways that you can do it. I don't know why we tend to tell people, if you get complimented on a shirt and say, oh, I got it at Old Navy, it was only $8, you should totally go and get you one. I'm that person. I tell them immediately how cheap something is when they compliment me on something. And yet, when it comes to something like this, so many of us are fearful. So if you can identify what is stopping you, be vulnerable and let your upline know, this is an area I struggle in. Help me to set some goals, or help me to work on some verbiage of what I can do. I promise you, if your uplines know that you have any inkling to put some effort into getting your first customer or your first ambassador on your team, your upline is going to want to help you achieve that. So let them know. Reach out for help. That's what they love doing. It's going to help you get started on your team, but it's also going to help their team. So of course they want to help you. So don't be afraid to ask for help. Team up with partners. Let me see what else it was I wanted to talk about. one other thing when it comes to strategy, and this goes for any time you want to rank up, you really need to make sure you understand what the requirements are for each rank. If you, and I tell people this all the time, no matter what rank you are today, if you've never had a promotion yet, or you've had 3 promotions, if you don't already have a projection in your mind of a deadline date of when your next promotion is, then you need to do that. That needs to be one of the first things. You need to start looking at how the compensation plan is structured, what the requirements are, how many more people you would need on your team, and then figure out, okay, if we continue at this pace, if we get this great momentum during this October, that should speed up when your next promotion can happen. So make sure you're aware of the requirements. Reach out for help to your upline if you need to. Study the compensation plan a little bit, but it's so important to know what is required of you and that you know when it's likely for you to make that happen. That's just huge in your strategy. You should be using your detailed genealogy report in your back office a lot, okay? That gives you so much information on where you are as a team, what you need for the next level. So don't be afraid. Hopefully this has been some good stuff. We're talking goal setting about things you can control, right? How many people you can share, put names on your calendar. I'm a huge fan of that. I'm really excited. I've got 7 new prospects that I'm going to be working on this month. I feel really strongly that I can get 3 of them. I'm like 99% sure that 2 of them are going to be ambassadors. One's probably going to start as a preferred customer. And then the other 4 people, I'm not sure where they're going to fall, but I've got their names on my calendar about when I need to follow up and, how to guide this conversation. And if I wasn't intentional like that, I promise you I'd get busy with other things going on, or with baseball with my boys, or team trainings I'm doing for my team. And I would forget to do my own income producing activities. And that's not good. I know that I heard Jules talk about how they never stop prospecting. And I remember hearing that and actually being discouraged by that, because I thought, gosh, if that's what it takes to be a Jewel, I'll never be able to do that. First of all, I don't know enough people, and that seems like so much work. All of my preconceived notions about that were so wrong. I'm still me. I've grown immensely. The personal growth and development that I've gotten from Plexus has been truly incredible. But I love being a leader for other people. And there are people who, these 7 names, a few of them have been people who've reached out to me completely unsolicited. The other half of the people have been people that I've been working on, that I feel like this is a fit for you and you should be doing this with me. So that's where I am, as I'm focusing on helping my team, but I've got to stick to my to-do list, be productive myself, and make sure that I don't stop that. So follow up with all your people. Do it with enthusiasm and excitement. Don't apologize about what you're a part of, because this is an amazing company. This is a life-changing opportunity. And every message I get that says, thank you that you said yes to Plexus, and thank you for telling me about this. It's absolutely why I will continue forever. So I love Plexus. I hope, I know none of that was necessarily like,
it was great,
earth shattering, whatever, but hopefully it's some usable stuff to help you guys stay on track this month. And I can't wait to see all the people. You guys, Plexus sets this stuff up because they want more people to make money. I've had so many friends who've done network marketing with other companies, and it's hard for them to achieve ranks or make an income that makes a difference. This company, you guys, everything that they've done by honoring August ranks in September payout, even though September was tough. Companies don't do that if they don't have your back, you guys. They want more of us to get a paycheck. They want our paychecks to go up. They want to see us succeed. And to know that that's the leadership we have in this company I'm just eternally grateful for everybody that's there. So I hope that you feel that too. So I think we might have time for a couple of questions. Liz, how do you want to do that?
So if anybody does have a question for you, Brooke, first of all, those are some really, really, really good points. And yes, some of it, it's just amazing reiteration. And I have to say that probably one of my favorite parts was what you said about goals. And that's something that I've never thought about, is making sure that your goals for that every month or every week or on a daily basis are things that you can actually control. And so I do love that point that you made. If anybody has a question for Brooke, you can just unmute yourself really quick, and we have time for just one or two. If anybody has a question? Maybe not. Does anybody have any questions about the specific ranks or what is required to hit silver, to hit gold, senior gold, ruby, whatever it may be, or what it might take to get there?
Well, I'm fixing to be a vendor at one of our events locally in a couple of weeks.
Uh-huh.
Any suggestions or ideas of what to do or what not to do when you're outside under a tent at a table?
Yes. Okay. So a product display is a great thing to have. I always save all my empty bottles of all my products. And there's a couple products I don't use personally, but I always make sure that, you know, if Plex has updated the packaging, that I get one for my product display whenever I do something like that.
I've got that already. So.
Yeah. Mixing up little samples of the pink drink, is always good. One of the most crucial parts that people sometimes forget is having some sort of a sign-up sheet where you get their contact information. You will get so many great leads, and you may be handing out cards to people, and you're going to be talking to people who seem so interested, but if you don't have a way to follow up, it's amazing how many won't contact you after the fact. So make sure you've got some sort of a sign-in sheet or something that might encourage them to drop something in for a drawing later. You know, maybe at the end of the event, you have a drawing for a bottle of Pro 5 or the X Factor. You know, it doesn't have to be something that breaks the bank, but something that would entice them to want to leave their information with you. And then you could do like a giveaway like that. And if they weren't there, you could mail it to them if you had their address or some way to reach them. So something like that is good. Not waiting for people to come to your table at an event like that. They might be attracted to things that have like really noticeable things going on, or something that's really attractive. Like if you've got, you can do fun things where you've got almost like a Wheel of Fortune wheel or something that gets their attention, that makes them want to come notice you. But even if you don't have something like that, don't be afraid to step around the front of the table and walk up to somebody and talk to them. They're in a place where they're expecting to hear from lots of businesses. And so being really, just positive and friendly and asking questions. You don't have to sit there and tell them about every ingredient that we have, and why that's better than what they're doing currently. But you've got to just invite them so that everything that you are saying makes them want to learn more. So you give them, little bits that are, I did one, for instance, for my boys' elementary school. There was a healthy kid fit fair. And I noticed a lot more kids were coming up to my table that weren't with their parents necessarily. And I was like, but here, I've got this children's vitamin. So I was asking every kid that was there, do you take a vitamin? Here's my card. You should talk to your mom. I've got one. I promise it's so much better than yours. And my boys take it. They go to the school and they love it. They have it every morning. So know your audience and figure out what might be the thing. If you're doing it this month and it's October, Breast Cancer Awareness Month, make sure you have a breast check kit there. Tell people we started out as a breast health company. Maybe you know that, maybe you don't, but that's what our background was. And then we reached out to more things that truly are answering the issues that people have problems with. So just knowing your audience, getting their information, and not waiting necessarily for people to come to you. I think that's often, I've been to bridal shows and things where there are some people who just you can tell they're kind of quiet and they just want to wait till somebody comes to them. They're going to make a much bigger impact by interacting with more people and being more bold than maybe they normally would. But you're in an environment where that's encouraged. So you're not scaring the person you're on the elevator with. You're at a vendor event. So, let people know you've got something that they're looking for.
Okay.
If somebody is yawning, you say, oh, you haven't had your pink drink today. I mean, there's some great ways to, mom's pushing kids around in the stroller. Oh, you need a pick-me-up. Let's talk about this. There are so many young moms on my team. So be relatable, but definitely get their information and then follow up. Take advantage of the fact that you got their information. Use it.
Okay, thanks.
Very, very good. Very good points, Brooke. Thank you for that. Anybody else have a question for Brooke before we wrap it up? Or Brooke, did you have any other thoughts or lesson comments you wanted to make? You've done such a good job, though.
Well, one of my most favorite things is reaching other people who are like-minded, because there are so many people who just assume their personality is one that means it's going to hold them back, and it's not the case. You're in control of what you can do, and it doesn't mean you have to change who you are. But you can grow. And even if you are already an extrovert, I promise you that you're going to find more success if you reach outside your comfort zone too. Maybe product knowledge isn't something that you think is within, your little niche, but learn something more. You're going to be able to connect to more people if you reach outside your comfort zone in whatever ways it is. It doesn't mean that you only focus on the areas you need to improve, but don't be afraid to reach out in those areas where you could stretch yourself a little bit. That's been again one of the most awesome things. My oldest son is exactly like me, and especially when he's 10 now, but when he was a lot younger, he was super, super, super shy. And I saw that. And I remember as a child, especially so incredibly shy. And way before Plexus, I made it a point that when he was running errands with me, when we were at Target at the grocery store, that I would engage in conversation with the people in the checkout line or the people who were checking out our things, because I wanted to be the example to him to show it's important to be friendly, to talk to people, to want that this was normal, because I was so afraid of him being held back from things that he might want to do in his life. Because there have been things that I've missed out on before Plexus, for sure, that I wanted to be a part of, but my fears or my insecurities or my shyness kept me from doing that. And as a parent, when you recognize something in your kiddo that I don't want them to miss out on something, you want to help. And so I had to fix me a little bit to be that example for him. And so it started with that. So that really kind of helped me start being okay with being more comfortable talking to a stranger. So if talking to a stranger about Plexus terrifies you, just start talking to a stranger. Get yourself some confidence in what it's like to talk about the weather. It doesn't have to be Plexus at all. But then the next time when you're standing in the grocery cart line and the person is talking about their headaches and they can't wait to get home for their daily nap, and you're like, gosh, I wish I had a way to talk about Plexus, but I don't know how to talk to a stranger. You've got that confidence already. So stretch yourself no matter what it is. It's not only going to help you in Plexus, it's going to help you in so many other ways. But that's one of the coolest things about this whole journey. So, make sure you know your requirements. I don't want anybody missing out on this rank up and score because they misunderstood one little detail. So make sure you know what it takes to hit each rank, and don't forget about that 50 PV customer, and just don't be afraid. Just talk to yourself and make yourself believe, I can do this, I can do this. So it's that positive mindset, setting your goals on things you can control, and the outcome is going to be something that you're going to be really excited about. So I know you guys can do this. I'm going to be cheering you on from here in Texas.
Yay! So So excited. So excited. And congratulations on Diamond Silver. I didn't know
Thanks.
the silver part. So
Yes. Thank you. It's fun. Again, never in a million years did I imagine this would happen. So maybe in a year or 2 years from now, some of you guys who are sitting on this call are going to be, doing calls for other teams and going, how did this happen? So, but you got to let it happen. It's worth it. It is so worth it. It's amazing. Look at all the lives changed because you said yes. Wow.
yes.
All right.
Thank you so much, Brooke. I'm done.